Hey guys, this is Zorava here, and we are back with another video. And this is a reaction video that I want you guys to see. And this gentleman here, Mr. Sujit Nair, I'm not gonna wait, I'm gonna reveal this gentleman, Sujit Nair. He's an editor at this online news channel, which is called HW News. Good people, great work. They have their Patreon, they have memberships. Go subscribe. If you already know them, hit like and let me know because these guys are doing very good work, especially this gentleman here. I listen to him a lot. He has good point of views. This is the kind of opinions, this is the kind of level of discourse we need in our Indian media in today's day and age. So not wasting any further time, let's get right into the video and let me introduce to the Mr. Sujit Nair. Let's go.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Sorry, I was on a small break. Break because I was unwell, break because there were a lot of compliance, notices, legal things that I was trying to sort out for my company. So I was kind of busy. Therefore, I couldn't come in front of you. And let me assure you, starting today, I am back. That's it. So let's get into the topic of the day. Now, today I've got a hodgepodge of a topic because I have got a lot of things to tell you. I wasn't there. I wanted to talk to you. A lot of things to tell you. So I'm going to talk about various topics today, especially regarding the assembly polls of 2022. And tomorrow onwards, we'll get into more specific editorial. So today, let me talk about a lot of things that I missed out in the 2022 elections so far. Not that the assembly elections have started, but whatever I have missed out in 2022 elections so far, let me give you my opinion on that.
So in this video, we'll be talking about the UP elections, which is going to be happening. There's a lot of controversies happening. There's hate speech. There are ministers leaving BJP. There are also ministers joining BJP. Why that's happening, why they're leaving, or why new people are coming in. Let's see.
Let's talk about Uttar Pradesh. You see, Uttar Pradesh it was very interesting. I'll tell you why it was very interesting. It was interesting is because a lot of things that you normally see happening to the opposition, you saw those things happening to the Bharatiya Janata Party, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party of Uttar Pradesh. What I mean by that? I mean that 9 MLAs, including ministers, walking out of Bharatiya Janata Party and joining Samajwadi Party. This is normally reverse. Maharashtra and all, even in West Bengal, we saw reverse. There were people from opposition parties or maybe ruling parties or even opposition party. Maharashtra, there was no opposition. The ruling party was Bharatiya Janata Party. But you still saw a lot of people from NCP, a lot of people from Congress going and joining Bharatiya Janata Party. This trend was reversed in Uttar Pradesh. So that's the first thing. The second thing is somewhere down the line, Uttar Pradesh very clearly saw the Dalit, the backward votes shrinking from the Bharatiya Janata Party. A lot of the Dalit leaders, including Swami Prasad Maurya, the leaders, they left, they exodus from Bharatiya Janata Party and went and joined Samajwadi Party, which means that definitely there is an impact on the Dalit vote for Bharatiya Janata Party. That is number one. Number two is a lot of people say that Bahujan Samaj Party is going to end of the day support Bharatiya Janata Party if need be, but that is one has to see how many seats Bahujan Samaj Party can get. So the fact is, the second factor that one has to say is one saw a lot of exodus from Bharatiya Janata Party to other parties, which was very surprising and for the first time. And secondly, the Dalit votes, the backward votes would be shrinking for Bharatiya Janata Party. That is my point number 2. My point number 3 is this entire thing about 80-20. Finally, they say now that Brahmastra. Finally, Yogi had to use his Brahmastra, that is polarization, and that is where he spoke about the 80-20. Now,
dirty religious tactics. Dirty religious
A
tactics.
common knowledge that what Yogi possibly meant is 80% of Hindus will be backing him and 20% of non-Hindus.
So just to do a little bit of self-promotion, this is one of the reasons that I got pissed off and I was like, let's start our own party. Because state and religion shouldn't be together. This sort of bullshit will happen. जहाँ पे असली मुद्दे रह जाएंगे and then हिंदू खतरे में, ये मुसलमान और ये लव जिहाद और ये bullshit तरीन. मतलब आई डोंट नो कि मैं और कितना एम्फेसिस दे के ये बात कह सकता हूँ, बट बुलशिट मुद्दे। खैर, मूविंग ऑन। सो इसीलिए माय पार्टी नो रिलीजन ब्रो, वी गॉट प्रिंसिपल्स, वी गॉट वैल्यूज, वी गॉट सिस्टम, नो रिलीजन। लाइक यू कैन हैव योर ओन रिलीजन बट नॉट इन द पार्टी, नॉट इन द पॉलिटिक्स, doesn't belong there, my friend. So let's continue.
The minorities, especially the Muslim, will not be backing him. This is what he meant. Of course, later on there were various interpretations of that. I remember one spokesperson in NDTV saying that no, it is about 80% of good people and 20% of anti-social elements and Pakistani supporters and so on and so forth. But theek hai, we all know what that meant. So that polarization was very clearly done. Okay, which is the brahmastra of yogi, of doing that polarization, which is to a certain extent the brahmastra of Bharatiya Janata Party also. But mind you, in some form or another, this is also used by Samajwadi Party. For instance, Akhilesh didn't say anything much, but somebody like Swami Prasad Maurya, who was a new entrant to Samajwadi Party from Bharatiya Janata Party. So I guess he's good at this kind of polarization. What he said is, listen, you know what? Actually, it is going to be 85-15. You know why 85-15? Because 15% of upward class, there also there will be division, and 85% of backward class are with us, and 15% of upward class are with Bharatiya Janata Party, or even there is division. So somewhere down the line, each of them were playing to their turf.
Another thing that I always say, ब्रिटिशर्स चले गए बट अपनी डिवाइड एंड रूल की पॉलिसी की जो ये हैंडबुक थी ना, ये लगता है ये पार्लियामेंट में भूल गए थे और ये इनके हाथ लग चुकी है और ये बड़ा कोई खतरनाक इसका यूज कर रहे हैं। सो देखो ना, मतलब बातें क्या चल रही हैं। दिस इज व्हाट द लेवल ऑफ डिस्कोर्स इज कि हाँ वो अपर क्लास 15% तुम उनके हैं तो 80% बैकवर्ड को हम है। अब बैकवर्ड में से भी ये टूटे तोड़ेंगे, मुसलमानों को अलग करेंगे, फिर यादव अलग होंगे, जाट अलग होंगे, फिर इनमें भी सीन है। मुझे तो पता नहीं क्यों मैं नाम भी ले रहा हूँ, मैं तो लिटरली बैन भी कराना है, बट बिकॉज क्योंकि हम बात करनी है और एकेडमिक पर्पसेस से हम अगर किसी ग्रुप को रेफर कर रहे हैं तो आई थिंक इट्स ओके, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो। रिजर्वेशन पे भी एक स्टैंड है बट उसका भी एक अलग वीडियो है। बट जस्ट सीइंग द लेवल ऑफ डिस्कोर्स की जो पॉलिटिक्स है वो आपकी कास्ट के बेस पे हो रही है, ठीक है ना। जब तक हमारा इंडिया का सिटीजन शराब की बोतल, कास्ट, जनेऊ, दाढ़ियां, बाल, कछेरे, कड़े देख के वोट देगा ना, तब तक कुछ नहीं बनना। आपने बंदे का देखना है उन्होंने कितना काम किया है, उनके मुद्दे क्या हैं, जो वो कितने सालों से कह रहे हैं कि इतनी जॉबें देंगे, कितनी मिली हैं। जब यूपी में बच्चे मरते हैं एंसेफेलाइटिस से तो बीजेपी कैसा स्टैंड लेती है। जो एसपी है, एसपी खैर अभी इस टाइम इतनी पावर में नहीं है, बट जब जब भी उनके टाइम रहे हैं, ठीक है ना, उन्होंने भी कोई कितने खास डीलिंग है। बट द एलिफेंट इन द हाउस इज द करंट गवर्नमेंट, और जो वहाँ की करंट गवर्नमेंट है, जो योगी योगी है उपयोगी। बट I'll say further, let's continue the video.
The Bharatiya Janata Party wants to polarize, make it a Hindu-Muslim divide, and Samajwadi Party, though Akhilesh has not said anything very emphatically on this particular term, but yeah, I mean, Samajwadi Party is trying to kind of make it into their turf, which is the caste turf. So both are playing their games well, and both wants to play the elections on their turf. So that's point number 3. Achha, point number 4 is very interesting. And I was talking to some very senior political leaders, some very senior journalists yesterday. In fact, there's a very interesting program that I'm doing with in joint collaboration with the public at 9:30 every day. Where we have few of the best minds, few of the best commentators, few of the best analysts of politics, especially Uttar Pradesh and Punjab politics. Watch that. It is interesting if you understand Hindi, and if you do not mind sitting for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, or 40 minutes at times, or 50 minutes at times for a program. It's a very interesting program. Do watch it on our Hindi channel. That said, I spoke to a lot of people, and I was generally figuring out, by what is this big story about Yogi wanting to stand from Ayodhya. Then Yogi said, no, you have to stand from Gorakhpur. Yogi was still very keen on standing from Ayodhya. That seat was kept vacant for him, so on and so forth. Why this fetish for Ayodhya? Why does Yogi want to stand for Ayodhya? And why possibly
राम
Doesn't
राज्य
Bharatiya Janata Party top command want Yogi to
राम राज्य की
stand in
फैंटेसी
Ayodhya?
पूरी करनी है उन्होंने.
I asked this question to a lot of people, especially people who are from Uttar Pradesh, who are people who knows Uttar Pradesh politics by the back of their hand, and the answer that I got is somewhere down the line, Ayodhya is going to be the flagship of the national campaign in 2024. Now, if Yogi is the leader, Yogi is the hero of Ayodhya, which
Point to be noted. Point to be noted. 2024, Yodhya is going to be at the forefront of 2024. I don't know why you guys, but I think I should keep notes. I'll update you on the party formation thing. But usse pehle, we need 100 followers, 100 subscribers minimum. Get us there. Like, subscribe, please. क्या कराओगे यार बंदे से? क्या कराना चाहते हो? What should I do? Like कर दो ना यार. क्या जा रहा है तुम्हारा? चलो, let's continue.
he was pulled out from his regular seat, that is Gorakhpur, and given Ayodhya, he would be the hero of Ayodhya, possibly in the national scenario, in the national campaign of Bharatiya Janata Party. Yogi will be in the forefront, and that too, he may be the poster boy. So therefore, somewhere down the line, the top management, the top leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party was not very comfortable of getting Yogi to stand in Ayodhya, while Yogi Adityanath, they say, was very keen on standing in Ayodhya for the Uttar Pradesh assembly elections. Now, one credit I want to give Yogi here. One credit I want to give Yogi here is because, see, neither is Akhilesh Yadav standing for the assembly elections. He himself is not standing. He is leading the team, but he is not standing. Neither is Priyanka Gandhi standing for the assembly elections. Nor is even Mayawati standing for the assembly elections. Not that Mayawati is going to play a vital role, like I said before, but even she is not standing for the assembly elections. But somewhere, Yogi is standing for the assembly election. He is fighting the assembly elections. So to that extent, I think it's a good practice. It is a good practice. So if you are a chief minister, you better well stand for the assembly election and then go take a direct entry as a chief minister, rather than taking backdoor from legislative assembly and others. So that is a good practice. So to that extent, I think I will give marks to Yogi. So this is what Uttar Pradesh election is looking at. You see, all opinion polls gives more weightage or more chances to Bharatiya Janata Party. But believe me you, in the last 1 week, like I said, I have been talking to a whole host of intellectuals, journalists, on-ground journalists, and so on, and political analysts and all of that. I get a feeling that most of them now believe that the chances for Akhilesh to win is pretty high. And this is the first time I am getting it in the last 7 days. Till now, everybody, end of the day said that, yeah, while Akhilesh will give a good fight, but the chances, the thing is still tilted towards Bharatiya Janata Party. But now a lot of people are giving a fighting chance, some of them possibly a winning chance for Akhilesh. Now, this, I tell you, have to be taken with a rider, because see, a lot of things change in the last few days before the elections. Last few days is when you see people like Amit Shah, people like Narendra Modi himself going down and doing his campaign. So things do change, but as on now, this is what my understanding is. Now let us get into the next state, which is Punjab.
Punjab is going to be interesting.
Punjab is more interesting. And especially from a marketing perspective, it is more interesting. I'll tell you why it is more interesting. You see, the Prime Minister, first of all, I want to make a statement on this particular point.
Bro, very big thing. I think this guy is going to talk about it. I was late in making the video. So I was like, I'll cover this topic, but maybe in some another video connected. Maybe I think I'll have a chance in this video to explain you guys. So the PM Modi's visit to Bathinda airport and वो जो अपनी रैली करने जा रहे थे, जो भी उनका होता है कारवां, उसको रोक दिया गया था by the protesters. So let's see.
The Prime Minister was caught in a traffic jam for 15 to 20 minutes. It possibly put his security at threat. Was it right? It was not right. There is no question about it.
बिल्कुल. No question about it, totally right. Forefront planning, जो भी services हैं, जो, the security services, they should have made sure, and this sort of stuff shouldn't happen. Total respect to the chair, to the position that gentleman is sitting. Totally not right. But let's see. That's the thing. There is nuance to the thing. There is nuance to the story. So let's see what the Sujit Nair, Mr. Sujit Nair has to say, and we'll continue.
Was it the state government's fault? To a very major extent, it was the state government's fault. Though SPG and all of them are there, they are huge forces. They are very expert forces. They should too make sure that the Prime Minister has a free passage and all of that. But yeah, to a certain extent, it is to a very major extent, it is the state government's fault. My apologies. ठीक है ना? So let's put that out of the picture at the moment, because that one, there is no question about it.
So since Mr. Editor said that it was on the shoulders of state government, and of course it was. अगर आपकी state में prime minister आ रहे हैं, तो you have due diligence to do that. You make sure that security is in check. उनका जो भी तामझाम है, जो भी उनका system है, that's in check. That's on you. That's your responsibility when he's in your state, in your territory. But obviously there is a lot of nuance to the story, and apparently Mr. Channi has jo CM hai Punjab ke, they informed them about some bad weather or something. I'm really foggy with the details because there is something coming up every day. Let's continue watching and let's see. So, but like I just wanted to put aside from the Punjab CM that he warned about the bad weather. But yeah, how the protester got to know how the prime minister is coming and all that stuff, that's a little bit controversial, that, and we might talk about it soon, but let's continue this.
The Prime Minister of India going to the airport and saying that, thank God I'm safe, my life is safe, thank God I'm alive, and I'm, well, would that befit the Prime Minister of the country? I think it doesn't. You see, end of the day, he's the Prime Minister, and end of the day, he visited his own state. Punjab is his state. Is his state. Whichever the government is, it may be a Congress government, but it is his state. Prime Minister making statement against his own state is not correct. That too in a press conference, I thought was not right. The Prime Minister going back to his office, calling his security team, calling the Home Ministry officials, calling the intelligence officials, asking them to do an investigation, detailed investigation, asking for a report. Yes. All that is absolutely fine. That is what I would have expected. But making that into an issue, I was not expecting this. Now the second question. Bhai, what is in it for the Prime Minister? BJP doesn't even figure in Punjab. Then why do all this? Why do all this? Because what happened here is, you see, the reaction. I'll tell you what happened after the Prime Minister made this into an election issue. After this, the Prime Minister spoke about it, and Prime Minister didn't possibly make it into an election issue, but the Bharatiya Janata Party did, because there was an Assam Chief Minister who did some puja, there was Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister doing puja, so on and so forth, for the safety of the Prime Minister. It didn't affect Congress. In fact, it helped Congress in Punjab. It helped Congress in Punjab. Channi became a national face. Channi became some kind of a hero in Punjab. He became some kind of a hero.
A face of the rebellion.
Aap got affected. It is Aam Aadmi Party who was actually doing better than Congress in Punjab, all of a sudden sliding down in Punjab. And secondly, another important thing that happened here is, now in Punjab it is
Mr. Channi.
All of a sudden Channi versus Modi. Not Rahul Gandhi versus Modi, not Priyanka Gandhi versus Modi, Channi versus Modi. Good. Channi, who people didn't even know 6 months before, all of a sudden has become a phenomenally recognizable, very popular politician in India. So good. So this happened, and I think Channi should thank Narendra Modi for it. Channi should thank Narendra Modi for it. So end of the day, coming back to my question, भाई मोदी ने ऐसा किया क्यों? Why did the Prime Minister do this? Why did Bharatiya Janata Party use this? They were not pitching much in Punjab. They had got 3 seats last time. They would get 4, 5 maybe. What else? What else can they do? Their partner Amrinder Singh, Captain Amrinder Singh, is not the best of partners they could have. So he was not even a serious player. So why did they do that? You see, the chances are this strategy was not for Punjab. This strategy was for Uttar Pradesh. The strategy of having an enemy, the strategy of saying that them versus us, that strategy had to be implemented. That strategy is normally what Bharatiya Janata Party.
पीपल ये तो देखो इंस्टा वाले लोग नहीं देख रहे हैं बट यहाँ ये ऐसे ऐसे कट बजा ऐसे ये होगा जब तक ये सरकार रहेगी ये हरकतें होंगी और ये आपको पता नहीं है ये कितने गहरे घाव है जब तक इन पे बहुत तगड़ा कुछ इन्फेक्शन हो जाएगा और फिर पूरा देश सफर करेगा मेरी जान आई एम वार्निंग यू गाइस दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सिटिंग हियर ट्राइंग टू मेक सम कंटेंट फॉर यू trying to aware you guys that this shit is happening right now today.
It was made into a media affair so that it can be shown that the Prime Minister's life is in danger because of an outsider, of an enemy. An enemy. So an enemy is created and national security is created. So that was possibly the reason why this incident was blown up. It was not, I don't think it was meant for Punjab because BJP has a fantastic strategic team. It is not meant for Punjab. It was never meant for Punjab because Punjab they were not very serious about. They know that they are not going to do well. It was meant possibly for Uttar Pradesh. So this is what I had to say about that particular that particular incident. Now let me tell you another thing that happened. Another thing that happened is Punjab is in a very interesting situation. Politically, you keep an eye on this. See, this gentleman, Navjot Singh Sidhu, with his antics or whatever he is doing, you know, going against Channi. Channi is becoming a hero and all that. He is becoming very known. He is quite becoming very popular in Punjab. And here this man is trying to say that, "Arey, yo, chief minister kaun banega? That will be decided by the people." Arey, chief minister decided, no? I mean, the whole world said it is a master stroke, and what a master stroke of making Channi into a chief minister because, you know, first time representation of scheduled caste, and that too a state which has got the maximum percentage of scheduled caste, which is 32% of scheduled caste, you know, making him a chief minister, master stroke and all that. ये सब बोलने के बाद, when everything is doing well, here you have Sidhu coming and saying that, "Arey yaar, Channi, Channi, chief minister will be decided by the people, by the MLA and all that." Arey, what are you serious?
You know, you have to give credit to Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu. Okay, kudos to the guy. Love the enthusiasm. Love the balls that he brings to the table. He stands forefront. भाई अलग से बंदा खड़ा है. बंदा कह रहा है BJP, आम पार्टी, कांग्रेस पार्टी, चन्नी, कैप्टन, whatever. भाई जी सिद्धू साहब अलग खड़े हैं हमारे. हैं? ठोको ताली, चलो आगे.
I mean, what the hell are you talking about? But you know, all these antics this gentleman was doing, it was actually helping Congress, and somehow everything seems to be helping Congress. So Punjab seems to be a lucky spot for Congress because today, if you actually look at it, you see, normally you have an incumbent government and you have an opposition party, isn't it? Everywhere, anywhere you went. So in West Bengal, for instance, you had the Trinamool Congress and you had BJP trying to defeat Trinamool Congress. Maharashtra, we had Shiv Sena Bharatiya Janata Party was the government, NCP Congress trying to defeat them. So everywhere it is like that. Acha, in Punjab it is all changing. Punjab it is Congress versus Congress. Somehow in the minds of the people, in the mindset of the people, the government is Congress and the incumbent government is Congress. And the opposition place, the space for the opposition is also taken by Congress. People like Sidhu are playing the opposition leader's role also.
Yeah,
so it's a fan.
He's great, man. He appeals to the emotions of people. He appeals to chul wale jo people and the people like me. He has balls, man, and I admire him for that. Love you, Sidhu Baji, whatever. Again, isi baat pe thoko tali, thoko like, thoko share, and let's go.
You know what is the next interesting factor in Punjab is the exit of Captain Amrinder Singh. Was Amrinder Singh an asset for Congress? Of course, he was an asset for Congress. Did we all think that Amrinder Singh's exit will harm Congress to a certain extent? To a certain extent. We all thought it would harm Congress to a certain extent. But what actually happened is Amrinder Singh's exit actually helped Congress.
मुझे रोना आ रहा है कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह के लिए. नहीं, मेरी आंख में कुछ चला गया.
Incumbency which otherwise Congress party would have had to face.
With whole due respect, सर आपका नाम में बहुत ज्यादा दम है, आपकी हिस्ट्री में बहुत ज्यादा दम है, बट मुझे नहीं पता आपने क्या किया जितना टाइम भी आप थे, 3-4 साल समथिंग थे.
In 2022 polls, 100%. And that anti-incumbency was very, very strong, let me tell you. So it was not that, Congress couldn't wish it away. What Amrinder Singh actually did as a favor to Congress, I would say, is he took away that anti-incumbency. And he took it away and went and started his own party, and all the anti-incumbency rested on him. Of course, Bharatiya Janata Party, by joining him, not that, like I said, much difference anyways, but Bharatiya Janata Party, by joining him, I mean, they took away the anti-incumbency to some extent. To some extent. So, it is somewhere down the line, more by default than design, I think Congress had a fabulous one after another stroke of luck in Punjab. So Punjab is a very interesting place, very interesting phenomena. I'm going to talk to you about Goa, Manipur, and Uttarakhand maybe tomorrow. I think I have already crossed my time. I'll talk to you about it. But these two states, I wanted to make these few observations that I was watching for the last 15 days. I couldn't share with you, and I got this opportunity, so I could share with you tonight. I will catch you tomorrow.
Thank you.
At 10.
I'll be there. So, इसी के साथ दोस्तों, so this was just a little bit update about the politics, how I see the politics, and what am I trying to apply for my social experiment, which is a political party that I'm starting. If you want to join or if you want to support, right now our website is working. We are setting up Patreon accounts and stuff. It's www.gdpindia.org. Please go check it out. It's not ready yet. I'm saying disclaimer. Still there are bits and pieces abhi us pe hai nahi hai, since we don't have our symbol allocated yet. So we are trying to work setting up the Patreon, setting up another donation, and I have an very interesting donation campaign coming up very soon. Of course, as this thing goes, a snowball effect happens. We'll get more and more content out of it. And yes, so this is our or my try of doing reaction content, getting people across to you that I love, I enjoy, I learn from. This is a very nice gentleman, very intellectual, very smart spoken. I admire. I actually try to learn how he speaks and all that, because I want to do that as well. There are some good people that come on the show, so he's the editor, and there are other people as well on his show. And then also there are other news media platforms, and they have interesting people as well. One of the guy is Scoop Whoop, a guy. He made this documentary on people who works in the sewage and Wali industry mein, and how it's just subject to one caste and what are the reasons behind it. He goes into deep thing. I think like I should react to that one. It's an old video, but I think it's still the case. Nothing has changed. Probably some bits and pieces here and there. I think jo thoda bahut acha hua hai, and it's in Delhi. But there are other states jinka haal way worse hai, because ye Delhi hai. They have some sort of resources. They have money. They're still little bit better, but still not up to the level of good countries. Because here in Western countries, bro, people get paid a lot of money to take care of the sewage, take care of human shit, which is very essential work. But here we have kind of undignified that job, and I don't know, fucking reserved the job for certain class of people. So yeah, so next video I'll probably react on that. That's all for today. तब तक के लिए आप अपना भी ख्याल रखें और इस चैनल का भी. See ya and take care. Bye.